This is just a phone charger. But if you look at it from a different angle, it could become a component for a very interesting project. Today, I'm going to try making an antenna out of this charger. Let's see whether it actually works. First, I remove the circuit board from inside the phone charger to prepare it for the assembly process. Here, I have two small wires, which I will use as the antenna conductors. First, I strip the ends of both wires to expose the copper cores inside. This prepares the wires for the next connection and ensures good signal conductivity. In the next step, I remove the two metal plug pins from the charger. Then, I feed the two wires through the holes in the plug pins. I leave a small section of exposed copper at the ends to create electrical contact points. Next, I reinstall the metal plug pins into the charger housing. As they are pressed back into place, the metal pins clamp tightly onto the exposed copper wires, creating a firm connection without the need for soldering. This method securely holds the wires while providing a reliable electrical connection for the next stages of the antenna assembly. Next, I prepare 3 copper rods of increasing lengths, which will serve as the receiving elements of the antenna. First, I bend each copper rod around a plastic cup to form circular loops of different sizes. Using the cup as a template helps create smooth and evenly shaped rings. Then, I bend the ends of each copper ring into small hooks. These hooks make the rings easier to mount securely onto the antenna frame. Let me know where you are watching this video from. Don't forget to comment the country you are currently living in down below. I'm really curious to see which parts of the world my videos are being watched from. Next, I mark 3 positions in a vertical line on one side of the charger housing. Then, I mark 3 matching positions on the opposite side to keep the layout symmetrical. In the next step, I use a drill to make holes at all of the marked locations. These holes will be used to mount the copper rings, forming the main receiving structure of the antenna. Next, I install the copper rings into the holes drilled in the phone charger housing. After aligning them properly, I secure the rings with hot glue. The glue keeps the copper rings firmly in place and prevents them from shifting during use. Next, I install the remaining copper rings into the drilled holes on the phone charger housing. Using copper rings of different sizes helps increase the signal receiving area and improves the antenna's ability to capture signals. At this point, the main receiving structure of the antenna is complete and ready for the next stage of assembly. In the next step, I use a phone SIM card as the central connection component of the antenna. I chose the SIM card because it has small metal contact pads on its surface, making it convenient for creating electrical connections. Its compact size also helps keep the wiring neat and organized while serving as a small connection platform. Next, I create 2 solder points on the surface of the SIM card. Then, I strip the ends of the blue and red wires to expose the copper cores. This prepares the wires for the connection and ensures good electrical contact. Finally, I solder the 2 wires onto the 2 solder points on the SIM card. At this point, the central connection unit of the antenna is complete and ready for the next stage of assembly. Next, I strip the ends of the antenna wires and the 2 connecting wires from the phone SIM card to prepare them for the wiring process. This exposes the copper cores, making the connection easier while ensuring a stable electrical and signal path. Next, I twist the wire ends together to connect the wiring from the SIM card to the 2 wires of the antenna's receiving system. Once the connection is made, I use a wooden clip to hold the joint firmly in place. Next, I apply a layer of solder to the joint. The solder strengthens the connection, improves electrical conductivity, and reduces the risk of the wires coming loose during use. In the next step, I solder the connections between the wires and the copper rings of the antenna. Once completed, the copper rings become part of a unified receiving structure, ready for the next stage of assembly. After completing the wiring, I place all of the wires and the SIM card inside the antenna housing. Keeping the components inside the housing makes the antenna look cleaner and also protects the connections from external damage. Finally, I reinstall the charger cover to complete the antenna body. At this point, the entire connection system between the antenna. Next, I use a long signal cable to connect the antenna to the TV. First, I strip the insulation from one end of the cable to create a connector. This exposes the copper core and prepares it for the next wiring step. Then, I attach this end to a TV connector. This connector allows the cable to plug directly into the TV's antenna input. Next, I wrap electrical tape around the connection to strengthen it and protect the exposed contact points from coming loose during use. At the other end of the signal cable, I prepare another connector in the same way. This time, I use a single electrical outlet as an intermediate connector. First, I disassemble the outer housing of the outlet. Then, I connect the signal cable to the two metal terminals inside the outlet. Once the wiring is complete, I reassemble the outlet housing. This outlet serves as an intermediate connector, allowing the antenna to be connected to or disconnected from the signal cable quickly and securely. Finally, I plug the antenna into the outlet connected to the signal cable. Now, I'm going to test it in real-world conditions to see how effective it really is. First, I'll switch to a TV channel to check the signal reception without connecting the antenna. As you can see, without the antenna connected, the TV only displays the message "no signal." Next, I'll connect the DIY antenna to the signal input on the back of the TV for the actual test. And here is the result. Almost immediately after connecting the antenna, the TV channels begin to appear. The picture is clear, the colors remain stable, and there are no continuous signal interruptions. To make the test more convincing, I'll perform one more experiment. I disconnect the antenna from the TV and observe the signal changes. As soon as the antenna is unplugged, the screen instantly returns to the no signal message. All channels disappear, confirming that the signal truly came from this homemade antenna. Now, I'll reconnect the antenna once again. As you can see, within just a few seconds, the channels reappear and continue working normally. If you enjoyed this project or found it helpful, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Your support motivates me to continue creating more repair, recycling, and DIY projects in the future. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.